We sit here tonight. It is the eve of the start of the season. Did I do my math right, folks? I
Yeah.
was never a
Nailed it.
huge numbers guy. I
Eve,
think I
Eve.
got it. Eve.
Eve.
Okay. Eve of the MLB season, which means we had to bring on great friend of the program, Lucy Burge, back on to do our annual predictions segment leading up to opening day. Put everything on the record. This is all going to be 100% correct, and nothing's going to age poorly when we look back on this in a couple of months. Lucy, it's great to have you back on. Thanks for taking some time.
Hello, gentlemen. I am so happy to be here on the 1 year anniversary of the first time I was on, and it is the eve of baseball season. So
exactly the 1 year anniversary? Was it?
I believe last year we did predictions as well. So
on March 26th to record it.
I bet it was. I bet maybe it was. Because I remember I picked the Padres to win the World Series, and that, of course, was correct. So I picked it. It was Red Sox Padres World Series, and Chaim Bloom would become president. I think it was. And
so you jumped. I had that in the back of the mind there. I was gonna pull that back out. Why don't we just start there?
Yeah.
You're the betting expert here. BetMGM, BetQL with Odyssey as well. Do we know what the lines for that parlay was with Red Sox? I believe it was Red Sox Mets World Series. Red Sox win, but that catapults Chaim Bloom to becoming president of the United States somehow.
Yes, I believe it was plus like 500,000. I think.
I was going to say
so
plus
if you
250.
Bet, yeah, if you bet that, you win like a lot of money. Put $10 on that. Yeah.
You'll be able to buy the Red Sox. You'll be able to buy your way into Chaim's old job.
Exactly. So Craig Breslow, watch your back.
I will say, so you mentioned some of the misses there. I mean, I had some big misses. Don't ask me who I had to win the American League Central. We don't have to go into that.
We won't.
We all kind of were taken aback by one of your wild card picks last year. You cooked with the Marlins, though.
Yeah.
You absolutely cooked with the Marlins.
That's
Marlins
right.
will soar.
Didn't I?
Yeah,
Miami forever. Yeah.
And you mentioned that, Liam, Marlins was sore. We were 100% in on the baseball and Creed crossover months before.
That's
we were there from day one.
So you know what? If we mention a good Charlotte later on in the episode today, and whoever wins the World Series gets on a big Benji Madden, Joel Madden kick in October, you'll have heard it here first again on Pod on Lansdowne. But again, summarize what we got into today. Jake's picks have been submitted to me. Jake wasn't able to make it for this segment.
Same thing last year.
Yeah, we were talking about this off here.
Jake?
I don't know. Are you beefing? Anything you want to spill? Like the Kendrick Lamar Drake situation?
You know what? I didn't want to get into it, but we kind of are. So it's just, you'd have to ask him about it.
It's too obvious. Yeah, you're not going to be the one to fire the first shot. You don't want to tell tales out of school.
No, I'm taking the high road.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. When he goes low, you go high.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with bold predictions, a very bold prediction, similar to what have no fucking clue what Lucy's going to bring up this year for a bold prediction, but we're going to find out in a few moments. And then from there, pretty straightforward stuff. East Central and West Division winners in both the junior circuit and the senior circuit, as well as the 3 wildcard teams in the AL and NL. Award winners, Rookie of the Year, MVP, Cy Young, all that fun jazz. We will be mentioning who we think will be making it to the American League and National League Championship Series, who's going to be winning the pennant, and then who's going to be winning the World Series. The World's '*S Series, as it was known back in the day, but it's 2024 now, so we make it simpler. What's that line from Kevin in The Office? Why have more words?
Fewer words make more easier. More words make more, make more less, fewer words make more simpler, something like that.
Someone's going to yell
Why
at us
use
to get
more
the
words? But I can't remember the line exactly.
You know what we're talking.
I'm not even going to try to say it because I would have done the same thing. I would have said it in some sort of.
Yeah,
and then Kevin spilled the chili, of course.
Yes, of course he did. Yes, that was prior to his fewer words, and he also was involved in some financial scheme because Martin, who was arrested, he was the convict in The Office, and he said, I had Martin explain to me what he did to get arrested 10 times because it sounds like what I do here every single day. So Shohei Ohtani's interpreter maybe was watching The Office.
Makes you think. That's actually the bold prediction right off the bat. Let's get into those bold predictions, though, and we'll have our guest go first. Lucy, you start us off here with our 2024 predictions episode. What is your bold prediction for the upcoming MLB season?
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani goes to federal prison. No, I think my first... No. I have some bold predictions, I will say, when it comes to my season long picks, but I have one bet that I saw that I really like that we might know within the first 5 games of the season. This is the Red Sox to start the season 5-0. These odds,
Listen, that's bold.
plus 20,
That is
plus
bold.
2,500, plus 2,500 for this. That's not that crazy. I think, they can win their first 5 games. You just have to beat the A's once to finish it off. I think they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the first 4, is it 4 games to start the year in
Yeah.
Seattle?
Sure
Yeah.
is.
Which, by the way,
Win all of those.
oh,
I
you
think
finish
it
your
is.
point there first.
No,
Lucy,
that's
then I
all.
wanna
That's
move on.
all. It's self-explanatory because of course they can do it.
It's definitely bold. I mean, if the pitching in Seattle is very stout. They have a very good rotation. They're obviously led by Luis Castillo. I know they just lost Brian Wu on the 15-day IL. I saw that. That did not make me say woo. I like watching Wu, but I did not say woo to read that news. But Logan Gilbert, of course, George Kirby with that command, he can just dot up pitches. They have really good pitching. But hey, if the offense can hang around with them, I think that offense for Boston could potentially outpace the Mariners. And if it happens, Liam and Jake will be there to see it themselves.
Yeah.
Just based on how the pitching staff looked in the spring and the way the bats looked in Texas for these final 2 spring games,
Yeah.
they might be rolling into Seattle hot.
There you go.
So-
There you go. First 5 games. That's why it's bold. But I think I think it's reasonable.
Now, speaking of the West Coast swing, I was talking to my dad about this earlier today as we record here Tuesday evening. I think people have been kind of complaining like, oh my God, you start with 10 West Coast games? Like, are you kidding me? This is way too much. No, I'd rather them get the West Coast swing out of the way right at the start of the season so you don't have to go west to the Mississippi, like, beyond like 2 more times. I think they start in LA after the All-Star break, but that's really it. You have to go to Texas and you have to go to Houston later in the year, but get that West Coast swing out of the way first.
Yeah,
If you
start
come-
it with a 10 p.m. game. I think that's a really good way to keep the hype rolling. I think that's
Start
really
the
smart.
year with some late night
Yeah.
Sox Twitter. Just come back at 500. I like that more for the Red Sox than having that happen in like the middle of June. It's like, oh, if maybe they're coming off of a bad home stretch, and then oh shit, now we have 2 weeks out west. Just get it over and done with.
They come home to the Red Sox fans who have barely slept because they're up watching the games. So maybe they're too delirious to see really what's happening if it all goes wrong.
That's a
But
good
it
sign.
won't. It
I
won't.
would agree, but I have PTSD from 2019, and I just pulled up the start of the year. They came
did
back
start
on
in Seattle.
They came back on April 9th after same thing. It was this was actually
They win the first 5
11
games.
11
Lost
games.
opening day. I remember that against Seattle.
They came back to Boston for opening day at 3-8.
Okay, well
Now,
that
for-
changed.
for
Yeah,
11
That was
games
a
in
different
last
year.
day.
just go 500. Go
Did they have
500.
interesting
scarred.
castings
I'm
at that
scarred.
time? Was Brian Bayo pitching for them at that time? No.
That's
So
true.
Was
You
Mookie Betts
Fair
playing for them at the
points.
time? Yes, he was.
yeah, he was. But you know what? It's gonna, it's a different year. It's new year, new them. They're gonna be filmed for
Whole
Netflix.
different year,
so-
yeah.
Under the
feel-
radar. We're
Different.
starting the year under the radar.
Yeah.
So
God, that
There's
feels
a
like
lot
a
of-
fucking lifetime ago. Jesus,
Yeah, and I
2019.
think a lot of people are gonna be surprised. So if you have that bet at plus 2,500, then good for you.
Speaking of surprises, Jake's bold take, and I'm reading it. He actually has 2 bold takes here, and I'll read them both, and you guys can maybe do a power ranking of the 2. Verbatim. Last place Yankees, so stealing your bit there
My-
from last
my
year,
bold
Liam.
prediction from last year. That's okay.
Plagiarism. And an original one, Acuna goes 50-50, 50 homers, 50 steals. Your
I don't
thoughts?
hate those. The Yankees one, I agree with.
You do think
Which
the
I will
Yankees are going to
get
come in the
to.
DFL? Oh boy. Oh boy. Acuna 50-50 I think makes sense, and God, I would love that for fantasy
I
purposes.
don't hate those.
The harder sell there is the 50 homers.
Acuna feels within reach, quite honestly. 50-50 feels definitely within reach. The Yankees one scares me. I wouldn't feel as confident about that one this year. Just
I
based on
don't
the
feel
photo
confident in
edition.
that at all, and you'll hear that in just a couple of minutes from me. Yeah, I mean, it's the 50 homers that will be tougher, but you have the protection of a Matt Olson and Austin Riley in that lineup. He's going to get enough ABs at the top of that lineup, which might be the best in baseball. Who's to say? You can argue the Dodgers, but with the expanded bases, maybe he doesn't reach 70 again. But even think like a quarter of those steals are taken away, you're still in that shot of getting 50 swipes. So I do like that prediction from Jake.
Yeah, those aren't bad.
There you go. Yeah, again, like just like if you took a considerable chunk amount out of 70, like okay, he's still like that's like 4 dozen stolen bases, which is absurd, even with the new rules. So, yeah, Ronald Acuna is the man. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty
He's pretty
nifty.
good.
Liam, your bold prediction.
So this one came to me right before we hopped on.
In a vision.
Yeah.
In a vision.
Mhm.
And it'll be interesting once you hear my actual like full season predictions. But I think the Red Sox will make a major splash at the trade deadline this year.
Define major splash.
They will ship off one of the big three.
Prospect. Ooh.
Yes. For a
Teal
major league
Anthony
ready
and Baby Bro.
bat or starter. I that part was still unclear in my vision whether
Yeah.
it was a starter.
You have to do
or
another
a
reading.
position player. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes the
Maybe-
lines get crossed.
I need
Yeah.
some incense. I need to start
Yeah.
burning incense.
So that kind of implies you think that the Red Sox are going to be in the hunt by the time late July rolls around.
I do. And I think
Mhm.
after 2 years in a row where they fell flat and sort of sat on their hands, I think there'll be pressure to make a big move, especially after the full throttle off season we just saw.
Mhm.
So
I'm
I
on
think
board.
whether or not it's a good move for them to make, I think a move will be made. So
Okay.
take that with a grain of salt. It could be ill-advised. I don't know. That part's unclear. In my
Yeah,
vision
if
as
it
well.
clears up, let us know.
I'll keep everyone posted.
This is obviously just speculation on your part, but I have to ask here, who do you think out of the three would be the most likely to be shipped off, Liam?
Oh,
Get in the zone.
most likely for me, I would say Meyer, but I think in this vision, I'm seeing bits of Roman Anthony being shipped off.
Mm.
Oh, boy.
Just bits
Yeah.
of him.
They're going to yell at you for
Just
that.
bits,
Arms.
just pieces. Not
Just
because
his
that's the
feet.
one. Not because that's the one I would move. Quite honestly, if it were up to me, I think, and this is mostly just because we didn't see him play a ton last year. The value's low. Like you'd go, okay, like if we had to move one, I'd say Meyer. But if he plays a full season this year, we've already seen what he can do. Like still a top, God, what is it, 15 prospect in the game. So a Teal for me is the one that's untouchable. A good catcher. Oh my God.
Stalwart.
Dreams. Yeah.
What
So
were-
one of
what were
Anthony or Meyer.
You're like a soothsayer right now. Were they from
I am.
Macbeth, I think? Was that a Macbeth?
That, it was probably a Macbeth thing.
Is it
was either
Macbeth or
Macbeth or
Hamlet?
like
It's,
Greek
you're like the
mythology.
Long Island medium.
I'm not-
read
Same
auras.
thing. Macbeth, Long Island.
Shake-
Yeah.
No, it's either Shakespeare or the Long Island medium. It's either one or is somewhere in between.
A Midsummer's Night's Dream in Long Island.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a soothsayer in Julius Caesar. There you
Ah.
have it.
Oh, okay. So I was on the right track.
One of the
The
Shakespeare
tragedy of
people.
Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He warned. He did. The soothsayer warned Caesar of his impending doom. So
I
don't know if that's good. impending
What's
doom.
that?
to
What's
the Red
that tweet?
Sox.
It's like tarot card pulls out card of me flying
Hot
a
air
hot air
balloon.
balloon into electrical wires. Me. Is that bad? My bold prediction for the year. I was almost going to be petty and do this with the Chicago White Sox after they burned me last year when I picked them to win the Central. But then I sat back and I'm like, nah, their division is too bad for this to be a reality, so I pivoted here. The Colorado Rockies are going to lose 120 games this year at least.
Oh,
They are a mess
you think
of an
they'll be worse than the
organization.
A?
Worse than the A's? Yes, I think so. I think
Wow.
by proxy, I mean, that division, man, I understand that it's more common play. You have less games against your division, but that's still, what, 13, 14 games against the Dodgers, 13, 14 games against the reigning NL pennant winners, who improved this offseason, 13, 14 games against the Giants and the Padres, who we'll get to, I'm sure, later in the program. They're no slouches either. And then you have the Rockies, like they're just, I have no idea what they're trying to do there, man. And I haven't for a while, but especially this year, this feels like a rock
didn't like-
bottom situation here.
You didn't
No-
like
no
the
pun
Tovar
intended.
extension?
What's that? Sorry.
You didn't like the Tovar extension?
I think he's a fine enough of a player. I think he has to figure it out with the offense. If he can keep up with on the defensive end, he has potential. But that's all, even if he does pick up on offense, that's still one part of the machine.
Where's the
here.
rest of the team?
They have no pitching. Chris Bryant, I love in my heart for Chris Bryant. He was fun to watch when he was on, but so far that has been no bueno there, that contract.
Did you see his comments over the winter? Where he was like, yeah, I may have like rushed that decision, essentially, in a nutshell. He was like, guys are signing. It was getting late in the offseason. And he was
Panicked.
basically kind of like, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is the best offer on the table.
Arrested Development,
Yeah.
I've made a huge mistake.
Made a huge mistake.
Basically, he quite honestly, it was quite recent too, I think. But
Yeah,
just
well,
a strange organization.
Nolan
Yeah.
Jones, good find for them. Fine enough of a player. He could excel at cores. He could be fine. But again, just one part of the team.
yeah.
It
happen.
is bleak in Colorado. I think it's going to be really bad, and I think they're going to. My bold prediction: 120 losses.
Okay.
I think they could be worse than the A's.
Okay. Don't hate
It's
that
bold.
at all.
Again, it's
That
a
is
bold
bold.
prediction. We didn't say tepid.
Right. They
predictions.
weren't like mid predictions. They're not like ho
We
hum
didn't say
predictions.
look out for the Orioles this year.
Yeah,
Dark
I think
horse.
the
We're not doing that.
Dodgers are going to win the World Series. No, this is bold.
Good pivot into the AL East. Lucy, who's taken home the AL Beast crown in
Yeah.
2024.
So I'm very high on the Orioles ahead of this season, going into this season. I think it will be the Orioles. When you look at the rest of the division, I'm just like, yeah, I think it will be the Orioles. I don't want to spoil my other picks, but the Orioles.
Jake
That's
agrees.
actually-
He says Baltimore.
Okay, good, because I'll have him know that it is plus 1,800. I also have odds for all of mine. Plus, not 1,800, plus 180 for them to win the division.
Good for the brand there. The Bet MGM lines.
They are all BetMGM. Thank
Not
you
a
very
sponsor.
much.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor
Yeah.
at all.
Yet.
No, I have no
Yet.
special offer for anyone with code Lucy.
I
if you
can be
wanted to sign
bought. I'll have you.
up. No, absolutely not.
Okay, Liam, are you in agreement there, Baltimore?
Yes, I think they win the division. I think they win the division handedly by quite a lot.
It's a clean sweep, yes.
yeah.
I would have been tempted to have said the Yankees had Cole started the year healthy. Obviously not the case. We don't have to belabor this point too much. Baltimore for the division, obviously the acquisition of Corbin Burns is massive, and it sucks. Yeah, they're not going to have Bradish, but G-Rod could take a step forward. And the offense, even though there's not like one huge stellar star hitter, it feels like that offense is greater. What's the saying? Greater than the sum
Greater
of
than
its
the
parts.
Some of
its
their
parts.
parts.
Right, they come together, and it's a pretty deep of a line. It's a lot of quality hitters
It's so
on that
balanced.
offense.
Exactly.
You know, Gunnar in his
Consistent.
second year, he could take a step forward. Obviously, Adley.
Adley.
When Jackson Holiday comes up, maybe he hits the ground running.
When
they've
he
got some
comes
solid
up.
hitters. Yeah,
That
which-
made
will
me
be
mad.
there.
That almost made me a pick for later. That made me switch it, but no, it just made me really mad. I was like, "How you had this
MVP.
kid."
You were gonna pick him for MVP.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna pick him for MVP. No, I have another MVP pick, but no, that made me angry. But I still think that he will come up at some point. So that gives me hope for the Orioles to win the division.
And still good. You know, with the addition of Kimbrel. You know, he's solid enough. In Cano was great last year. You lose the mountain, sure, but you know, still fine enough of a pitching staff, and I think that'll be enough to give them the division. AL Central, Lucy. Who
Okay.
you rocking with?
Okay, I'm going with the Twins, which isn't the boldest. They are favored minus 125, but they won their third division title in 5 years last year. I think they'll do it again here. So yeah, I just think the Twins. I'm pretty high on them this season. To win the
Jake
division.
agrees. He is riding with Minnesota to
Jake,
win the division
We're
once again.
beefing, but we're agreeing.
Yeah, great. You know,
God.
sometimes it's like a yin and yang situation
Yes.
sometimes between Wallinger and Burge. Liam, AL Central, worst division of baseball.
I am going a little bold. I'm riding with the Guardians.
The Guardians.
Yes, I like the Central is so hard to pick. I think we all know for sure the White Sox will not be good, but I do think the Twins, like Lucy already said, they have an edge there. I think the rotation's the best, and you know, the lineup is more balanced. They have better depth. I don't know. I mean, the Guardians. I think they'll be the surprise of the season. Is
Okay.
what I'll say. I love my guy
Okay.
J Ram. Still Bieber. They still have McKenzie. Like there are pieces there where if things go right, things fall into
Ibby's a
place.
good enough of a pitcher.
Yeah, exactly. So
Kyle Manzardo could come up and he can make an impact in that lineup, which they're going to need that offense. I think if they are going to go far,
100%.
well, I think it was Cespedes Family Barbecue. I think Jake Mintz said that outfield might combine for 12 home runs this year with Stephen Kwan, Miles Straw. You know what I mean?
Miles Straw.
They could use
Miles Straw, Instagram follower of mine.
How about that? There you
Use my
go.
stories.
There we go.
Yep.
Friend of the program, Miles Straw. Come,
Like,
come on the
Miles
pod,
Straw there.
Miles.
Like, oh, Miles Straw. Hello. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think
good friend.
if J-Ram will obviously carry the load, but like if Andre Jimenez can get back to what he was 2 years ago, Josh Naylor, he'll hit. I
Like
think.
Naylor a lot. And Bo,
Yeah.
too, behind the plate, and
Yeah.
his brother.
Both of them.
Yeah.
So Stephen Vogt, first year as manager.
Yeah.
I like the guy.
I keep forgetting that he's their manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's-
I'm going with a secret third option.
The
The Chicago
Royals.
White Sox to win the. No, that's a joke.
No.
No. Of course not. Of course not.
The
I almost
Royals after
got.
their fourth
I almost got
rattle
really
offseason.
slutty and picked the other really bad team from last year in the Central because I like what Kansas City has done.
Mhm.
The Detroit Tigers are going to win the American League Central this year.
I like that.
Okay.
I like the Detroit
Okay.
Tigers this year.
Okay.
I understand that their ballpark is tough for hitters, but I like Torkelson to take a step forward. Colt Keith could be a sneaky pick for the American League Rookie of
Aura.
the Year.
Big aura.
Yeah.
All Javi Baez has to do is not have like a negative 200 OPS plus and just play stellar defense and he could be fine. Carpenter is a really underrated hitter. I like him at DH. Riley Green takes a step forward. The pitching is solid. I really like getting Kenta Maeda there as a middle of the rotation sort of a guy. I like the steps that the Tigers are taking. I think a lot of people see like, oh, like they have a bright enough of a future. Casey Mize getting healthy again. Maybe they could be something down the line. I think the opportunity for them to strike is hot. I think the Twins, it makes sense for them to be the odds-on favorite in the Central. Losing Sonny Gray hurts, and that offense is also depending on the health of Byron Buxton, Correa, and Royce Lewis, which that's not necessarily, a quality bet to take. They all have their injury issues. Obviously, guys like they're fun to watch when they are healthy, but it's an if not a when they're healthy sort of deal for them. So I'm feeling the Tigers this year.
I like that. I thought, they've been coming, especially like the young arms have been coming.
Folks, buddy.
That's what she said.
Hey now.
It's like an inside the NBA bit. But
You're banging against the dude.
but no, I like that pick, Fitz. I think
Yeah.
I was probably sleeping on them this offseason more than I should have. But
Yeah, I think a lot of people
You've
are.
shown me the light. You've shown me the light.
Yeah.
I was disappointed after last year.
Now, of course, that's the AL Central kiss of death. They're gonna lose over 100 games. It's gonna go up in smoke, and the rebuild begins again in the Motor City.
Division's wide open.
There you go. Again, it's the worst
Except-
division.
except if you're the White
Someone
Sox.
legally is obligated to win that
Yes,
division.
someone has to.
So, Lucy, AL West, going out
Yeah.
west. Are you going
Yeah.
with the defending champions? Going in a different direction? What are we doing?
You read my mind. I'm going with the defending champions. The Rangers are plus 250 behind the Astros here. I like they just won the World Series. I can't not take them to win this division. So I would take them over the Astros any day.
You and Jake again.
Good
riding with
God.
each
I
other.
think we're actually in love, I think is what's going on. That's what's happening.
What a U-turn from these 20 minutes or
Do you
so.
see anything in your visions about soulmates, maybe?
I'll have
That's
to.
what's there.
I'll keep looking. I'll keep looking.
Yeah.
So he's
Rangers.
going with the Rangers.
Okay, Jake, we'll go Rangers, I guess.
Liam,
I can't give up on the Astros. I can't.
me and you, dude.
Until somebody tosses them off the throne there in the West. I can't bet against them. The lineup still has, Tucker, Bregman, Alvarez,
Altuve was excellent last year after he came
Right.
back from injury.
and he just got the extension.
Mm-hmm.
That core is so good. I know Bregman's in a walk year. He could turn into 2019 Bregman again for all we know.
Ryan Presley is arguably their third best reliever. That's crazy.
It's nuts.
Him, Abreu, and Hader, 7,
Yeah.
8, 9.
Yeah.
That's going to shorten a lot of games. And I know there's some question marks with their pitching. Oh, is Verlander going to bounce back? Christian Javier, how
Fromber's my guy. Fromber's inevitable.
they're going to be able to
His-
shorten enough games.
His strikeout props, I take the over all the time. I'm really excited to start doing that again.
They still,
Oh.
and they've still. I mean,
Amazing.
Chas McCormick feels like one of the most underrated players in baseball too,
This is
and
true.
he should be getting more at bats in that lineup now with Dusty. Who's the kid that they have at catcher now? They're not going to be playing Martin Maldonado.
Oh, it's Diaz, right?
Right? Yeah, I think that's his
Yeah,
name.
he was
I should
playing like
probably-
catcher and DH all year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I think the Astros are gonna. They're
Yeah.
getting wildly disrespected. I understand that the Rangers have some aura. They just obviously coming
Yeah,
off of.
Jake and I will
well-deserved-
see you guys at the end of the season, and we'll see who.
Yeah, right.
My
Just
thing
like
was
last
like,
year.
win this. Which team?
I was so tempted to lean towards the Rangers,
Yeah, because it's a good pick.
but I started looking at the starting pitching, and there's so many guys with injury histories.
Scherzer out for a
nowadays.
while. DeGrom out
Scherzer,
for a while.
DeGrom.
Yeah, they don't
Um,
have Creed on their side and with
like,
arms wide open.
It feels like Nate's an every other year guy now. So who knows?
We'll see.
I couldn't. The pitching to me, I feel like the Astros, they're just a machine. So I can't bet against them.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
Lucy, I'd say
Okay.
Liam and I are saying those arms are not wide open right now.
Well, maybe
There
he
was-
won't be an every other year guy this year.
I
There
think
was
they
a
have
piece
they
of
have enough-
me.
Bro, you saying Liam?
There was a piece of me that wanted to go Seattle and go really big and bold, just based on their pitching alone. But I don't think their lineup stacks up with either of those teams.
I would agree with that as well.
Not
I think
even close.
Texas has enough juice to carry them to the point where
Yeah.
Max and DeGrom are healthy enough to get them into the dance. And I'll
Maybe
spoil that
dancing.
they're one of my wild card teams. Liam, you have them in the
I
wild
knew
card
I
as
knew
well.
my Seattle pick was gonna open up that can of worms. But yeah, I have Texas and Seattle as wild cards.
Texas and Seattle's wild cards. Lucy, who are your three
Okay.
wild card teams?
Okay, so Seattle is one of mine. Actually, they are minus 165 to make the playoffs. My other one, the Red Sox, plus 260. That's one of my bold
I knew that
predictions.
was
I think they're
coming.
going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people, and they will make the playoffs. Also, the Astros.
And the Astros make it
Minus
there, too.
500 to make the playoffs. But I think the Red Sox will make the playoffs as a wild card team. I
Well-
don't think it's that crazy.
Well, with Liam's girlfriend's album Dua Lipa being what is it, radical optimism? That's what we're seeing right here with the Red
Yeah.
Sox.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
go.
the motto now.
Yeah. These Dua Lipa kissing everybody else's butt while the Red Sox make the playoffs.
you know what? Vi con Dios there.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate-
That's one of my other bold predictions.
right. So okay, so you got.
Everyone will see. It's gonna be okay.
You'll all see.
We will
But they're gonna
see
start
one way or the
5-0,
other.
and they will lose every other game, but they will. God damn it, they will start 5-0.
There you go,
Yeah,
and
no,
then
I
that
think
will
they're
be
gonna-
enough to propel them into the wild card. Fingers crossed. But along that, Houston and Seattle. I heard that right.
Yeah. So yes, Seattle, Red Sox, and Houston.
Okay. Jake agrees with you on the Astros and the Mariners, but
God
he says
damn it.
But he says the Blue Jays making it into that third wild card spot.
This is
Toronto.
this is where I can get the upper hand on Jake. This is
There
where
you
he
go.
and I can have a battle.
There you go. Finally, some difference there in opinion.
Okay.
Liam, who are your three wild card teams in the junior circuit?
So I already mentioned Texas and Seattle, and I went with the Red Sox last year. They burned me big time. I tried to be optimistic. I'm going with the Blue Jays as the number one
Like
wild
Jake
card
special.
in the American League. Just,
Okay.
I think it's the make or break year for that core. We know Bichette's good. We know Vlad. We know what Vlad is capable of. If he can get back to that 2019 Vlad, that team's terrifying. Gosman at the top of the rotation. It doesn't get much better than that. Like, I think if there's a team that's going to push the Orioles, it's going to be them. And
Interesting.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So I'm going in a little bit of different direction than everyone here. I'm going to get yelled at for this. I 100% understand that. And what I mentioned about their pitching staff last night, Liam, and you'll hear it later on in this episode, that's a tease. I'm definitely going to get yelled at for this, but that's fine. Yankees are making the playoffs, guys.
God damn it.
The Yankees are going to make the playoffs. I know.
No.
I don't like it. I
Not buying
know. I'm just trying to tell you like it is. I think they're good enough to make it into the wild card. I'll also go with Texas, like I mentioned. I think they have enough juice.
Okay.
And then I'll be the lone wolf on this as well. Death, taxes, and the Tampa Bay Rays always figuring it out. they all if there's one thing I've learned over these last 15 years is that no matter what, The names change, the faces change, but the Rays are going to figure it out. I think people are going to be mystified at how good Ryan Pepio could be with the Tampa Bay pitching machine. They're going to have 20 random guys in their bullpen who have all sub 1.5 ERAs. Yandy Diaz is going to be in the MVP conversation. They're going to call up Junior. He's going to be great, and those fucking Rays are going to find their way into the postseason again.
Okay. I'm ready to be mystified by them then.
I feel like once I got past the division winners, I mean, regardless of the Central is kind of falls into this category. There is, and I don't know, for better or worse, there is so much parity in the league now. And
Yeah.
I think obviously the extra wild card lends itself to that. And it's like there aren't really too many god awful teams. There's really just three, where the Rockies, like Fitz talked about, the White Sox, and the A's. Those are really the only three teams you can pencil in and be like, these teams are losing 100 games. Anybody else, Sands, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Orioles, say the Astros too.
Yeah.
You can pencil them in for 90. You can pencil that bottom barrel for 100. Anybody else, it could go either way.
Yeah, 90 wins or 70 wins one way or the other at that point.
Yeah. This is very true.
We saw last year the Diamondbacks, you just get in with 84 wins.
Yep.
Who knows?
Phillies the year before. You just got to get into the dance and you go from there. Now we have a fork in the road here. Do we want to go into our AL awards picks, or do we want to do the NL picks for the playoffs and then we do award season altogether and then go to the playoffs? What do we want to do? Choose your own adventure.
That's up to you.
No, you're the guest.
Oh, okay. We could do awards. Let's do awards.
Okay, AL awards. AL
I'm ready with mine.
MVP. Lucy, who is it?
Okay. All right, you guys. AL MVP this season, Tristan Casas. I said this a couple weeks ago, and I got completely roasted. But you know who agreed with me? A lot of people did not.
Tristan Casas?
You know who agreed with me? Tristan Casas. I want to make it my Twitter header, honestly, but I don't know if I should. But it's an Instagram DM from him. He replied to my story. He said, I have a lot of faith in you, Lucille. And I said, thank you, Tristan. So I can't go back on it now. I can't go back on it now. He knows. So Tristan Casas plus 12,500 to win AL MVP this season. Thank you very much.
I mean, if you're going to go with them for the wild card anyways, they're going to have to be lifted by someone.
Exactly. Their star, Tristan Casas.
Not the most outlandish Red Sox awards pick.
It's not
out
that
of the
crazy.
bunch here,
It's not that crazy.
knowing what the fourth individual here has later on. I'll mention it in a few minutes. Yeah, I would say, Lucy, Casas for MVP is not as crazy as what you're about to hear from Mr. Wallinger in a few moments.
Okay.
Wallinger did pick Julio Rodriguez to win the American League MVP. I don't hate that pick whatsoever.
That's a snooze. You know what? That's boring.
I mean, he's so goddamn good. I feel like he had kind of a down year last year, but if Seattle is going to make a push, like you guys might be suggesting, it's going to have to come, at least on the offensive side, it's going to have to come from J-Rod. And I think he has the capacity to do that. He has the facilities to do that, big man, I would say. So J-Rod for MVP, according to Jake. Liam, who do you got there?
So the first vision that comes to mind is the Japanese soldier from World War II still fighting 30 years after the war ended. And last year I took Mike Trout to win AL MVP. I'm taking Mike Trout to win MVP again. Okay. He only played 82 games. I still believe he's only going to be 32 this year.
He played 82 games, but he still had like 60 homers. He was great.
And I don't know. I think he's got one more in him. I just got to see it out. And I'll pick him until it happens.
Speaking of memes from Mike Trout, that meme of the guy going to the cat in the window is like, "We're gonna get you out of here. We're gonna get you out."
That's him in Anaheim.
Yeah, he's like, "We're gonna save Mike Trout one way or the other." I was tempted. I mean, it would make sense since I have the Yankees in the wild card. To go with Juan Soto. I know that's a bit of a chalky pick, and I could totally see that. There's one player in a division-winning team that I picked, who I don't know if regular fans of baseball know how good this dude is. I think he's got 30-30 plus potential I think he's one hell of a player. He does everything well. My AL MVP pick this year, Kyle Tucker of the Astros. Dude is so good.
That's
Ooh.
not bad.
Consistently a great hitter. He was like in the 95th percentile of xWOBA last year. He's going to be moved up the lineup now, presumably, now that Dusty Baker isn't the manager. He was batted like 6th and like 7th when Dusty was at the helm. Bump him up to like the 3 spot, 2 spot, 4 spot, something. You're going to see those counting numbers go up. He's one hell of a player, entering his prime now. I like Kyle Tucker for MVP this year.
His odds, just looking, plus 1,800 at BetMGM. That's not bad.
He's one of the 10 best players in baseball, I would say.
Value
Honestly, he does everything well. Everything. There's no huge hole in no glaring hole in his game. I think he's a great player. So put that in.
God. That's pretty good. He's no Tristan Casas, but
Fair enough.
Who is?
Exactly. AL Cy Young, Lucy.
Okay.
Also Tristan Casas or so? What do we
yeah, I think he will win everything. Cy Young, I think he'll win.
Move over, Shohei.
He'll just be in the Hall of Fame at the end of this year, I think. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani can get lost. Pablo Lopez, plus 1,100 are the
Great
odds
pitcher.
on this. I love this for him. I love for him to win the Cy Young. He would be the first Twins pitcher, fun fact, since Johan Santana to win this. So I think he had a very encouraging final outing of the spring. I think that bodes very well for him this season. He's the opening day starter. I think he is going to have a Cy Young season this year. So plus 1,100 for Pablo Lopez.
Luis Arias, great player. And, he was on, everyone's like, oh my God, he's going to hit 400 last year. I'm pretty confident in saying that the Twins cooked in that trade to get Pablo Lopez for a guy who's just a slap single hitter. Good player in his own right, but Lopez is a great pitcher, and he's way younger than you think. He's like 27. I was looking it up the other day. I'm like, how old is Lopez? He's got to be like 30, 31? Nope. He is a spring chicken.
Drop that skincare routine.
There you go, right? Exactly. All right, moment of truth here for Jake. Anyone want to guess who he picked for Cy Young?
Oh no, Pablo Lopez?
No.
God.
No.
Oh no.
Liam, any guesses?
Did he pick?
I'm actually not sure.
I don't know.
Captain Canada himself, Nick Pivetta for Cy
No.
Young.
I love it. I believe.
Coaches.
Right?
I'm with him.
Okay.
God, I told you it was not the most outlandish Red Sox awards pick, Lucy. It
No,
really wasn't.
I'm about to have another more outlandish pick, but yeah, I think that's great for him. That's good for Jake.
Live your truth, Jake. There you go.
Go on.
Liam, Cy Young.
Also Nick Pivetta. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. I will keep them coming. Keep them coming. I will say for Jake at least, like Pivetta with the sweeper this year, I am expecting big things.
Good for your families.
I am not bold enough to say he will win the Cy Young. For me, that award goes to George Kirby this year. I've talked about Seattle's pitching already. I think he's only gotten better, and he's only thrown more innings in his 2 seasons. He's a lock for 25, 30 starts. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to be in the conversation by the end of the year. And like I said, I have Seattle in the playoffs. I think between him and J-Rod, they could carry him there.
Fair enough.
Pavetta's odds plus 15,000.
Oh,
that's a little unfair for George. The dude can put it exactly where he wants it every time. It's impressive.
Yeah. And I will say I hated the flack he got at the end of last year when I think there was the whole situation was like, do you want to go back out there or something? And he was like, no, like I'm done. Like I've given everything. And we talk about protecting pitchers. Look at all the pitchers that have gotten hurt this spring.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Laundry.
Know your body, guys. Know your body.
Listen to your body and respect it. Is your temple.
Yeah, exactly.
Body is a vessel, and then that's where you get all your visions. If you treat your body
exactly.
well, be one with the earth.
I am hardly the first person to jump on this dude's bandwagon for Cy Young this year, and I probably won't be the last. He's been a bit of a trendy pick, but I am a true believer in Tarek Skubal. I think he's going to win the Cy Young this year.
That was my like A2. I was like sleeper.
Yeah. I mean, his stuff is overpowering when it's on. He's taken a couple of years to grow, to become the pitcher that he is, but he's legit. He's one of the best lefties in baseball, I think. Liam and Lucy here, only 15 starts last year.
Yeah.
2.80 ERA, which is great.
Yeah.
You want to guess what his FIP was, fielding independent pitching?
What was it?
Even two. The stuff is there. 0.896 whip to be specific last year. Dude's electric. And again, if he's got a good enough of a defense behind him, he's in a pitcher's park. I think those numbers are going to look nice. He's going to have enough strikeouts to be impressive, I believe. Last year, K per 9, 11.4.
Ooh.
Yeah. This dude's
That's
really,
not
really good.
bad. Plus 1,000 odds.
If
Pretty
you're
good,
in a
pretty
fantasy
good.
league and you haven't had your draft yet, and he's still hanging around in the last couple, not last couple of rounds, but like, I don't know where he's probably going, like round 4 or 5. The point is, this is going to be your last chance to draft Tarek Skubal at a relative discount, because I think he's going to skyrocket. I think he's a really, really good pitcher, and he's my pick for Cy Young this year.
Okay.
I like it. I like
Love
it a
it.
lot.
Lucy, one question for you.
Yes, please.
Who will be the baby of the year? in
I
the
think they should
American League
name this.
Central?
I think,
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
in the American League in general, not the just the-
I'm going to go Bart Harley Jarvis. But
He's the best.
he's the best baby. Yeah, I caught his dad in the bathroom getting out. Tiny Dinky Zappy. Wyatt Langford.
Mhm.
AL Rookie of the Year. Because I mean, it's a little bit of a chalky pick. It's a little bit basic, but how can you not pick Wyatt Langford? He is the baby of the year. Plus 225 are his odds. So I'm taking those. A little bit of value left there. Wyatt Langford.
Kid rakes.
Yeah,
Kid
he's ready.
is authority.
As
with the
Sarah
twig.
Langs tweeted today, he's ready.
That's right.
Mhm.
Sarah Langs knows her ball too.
Mhm.
Another bold pick related to the Red Sox for Jake. He's going with SETI. He's going with Rafael.
Oh,
for
he
Rookie of
is.
the
I
Year.
don't hate that, honestly. I saw his name on the list of odds and I was like, good for him.
Sky high upside on offense, but also some not upside. He's got a lower floor considering his ability to chase, but obviously the defense is there, and he'll have a chance to get the playing time. That's
Yeah.
part of the battle here to get enough ABs, enough appearances. So yeah, Jake going with his homer picks. He's got Nick Pivetta as Cy Young, and he's got SETI for Rookie of the Year. No
I
Red Sox in the
respect it.
wild card though.
I know.
Which is it? You
That's
know,
a
I don't-
loser move. Okay.
Liam, are you going with Jackson Holiday to go back to your Maryland roots, or what's the pick?
No, I am supporting your cause for the Detroit Tigers. And I mentioned his aura earlier in the program.
Colt Keith?
I'm taking Colt Keith.
Colt Keith.
Absolutely
yeah.
mashed. He's mashed at every level. He looks cool. I like
yeah,
it.
looking cool is part of it. That's
Both
true.
the he's got the
True.
what do they call it? He passes the eye test and the
Lucy left. Oh, no.
We lost Lucy.
She'll be able to jump back into the show. But what
But
you
yeah,
were saying about Colt Keith?
Across AA and AAA last year, 126 games, 306, 380, 552. The OPS was 932. I think he'll be able to
Lucy's
handle
back.
major league pitching
Yes.
as Lucy returns.
I mean,
Yeah, sorry. It crashed.
it happens from time to time. But
Yeah,
I mean,
we always
money
have technical difficulties here. So
Money talks on that Colt Keith front. What was the contract he got? He got a bag from the team. It
oh
was
yeah,
like
let me look it up.
something like 7-8 years, something like that. He got paid, so good for him. And again, he's going to have the shot to
6 years, 228 million. That's going
there
to
you
look
go.
like a bargain.
so not 7 or 8 as I said, but no, again, good enough of a player. I also went with a Texas Ranger outfielder, and I was considering Wyatt Langford. No shade on him. The tiebreaker went to the guy who was already mashing in the postseason en route to a World Series championship, and the guy who's still eligible for it. Evan Carter, Rookie of the Year in the American League. Already has that experience. At this point, playing games in May against the Angels and the A's. I mean, that's got to be a cakewalk if he's been able to do it.
He looked so seasoned last year. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
I think I feel like that's. I mean, not to chirp everyone else's pick, but I'm like, that seems pretty straightforward to me, considering the already seasoned enough. No, already has his feet wet on the biggest stage. No, I'm riding with Evan Carter there for the American League Rookie of the Year. To the senior circuit we go. National League East, another great division here on the East Coast. Maybe the best team in baseball in this division. Do we want to just skip the formalities here? Is everyone saying the Braves?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Their
Yeah.
odds, I will say, they're minus 275. I wouldn't touch it, but I would pick them.
Yes, and again, no shade on the Phillies. They're good enough of a team too. Maybe the Mets have one of those aura runs, you know what I mean, where they're able to get back into the race. In Miami, a playoff team last year, but I think it's pretty hands down that the Braves are the best team in the division. They look better than they were last year, and they won like 600 games last year. And Chris Sale slicing already. I'm already loathing.
I will get to this.
Jesus. I am already loathing the revisionist history conversations regarding one Christopher Allen Sale.
Okay.
If he does have the
It
season that I
started
think
the-
you're
it started
implying
the
he's going to
day
have,
it-
Lucy.
It started the day we traded him, folks.
Ugh.
Yep.
I'll put a pin in it. That's a tease. So
Okay.
Bravos in the East.
hmm
Lucy, who you riding with in the NL Central?
Yes, so I'm going with the Cubs here. Their odds
Go,
are plus
Cubs, go.
190. I love the Cubs here. The division, this one's pretty wide open as well. I think ultimately it will be the Cubs who take the NL Central.
Okay, there. Imanaga being added to that
Yeah.
rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting enough, he
Yeah.
could be an NL Rookie of the Year candidate as well. Jake is going with the Cubby Bears as well. He likes the friendly confines, apparently. Liam, you were fist bumping when the Cubs were mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume you picked them to win the division.
I sure have. I think they'll win it quite handedly. I think the only team that'll give them a bit of a run is the Cardinals, but I do not trust that old starting rotation that they've put together in St. Louis. And, I don't think Craig Counsell would have taken the job if he didn't think the Cubs were going to be good. I think he's being paid as the best manager in the league. I think he is the best manager in the league. And, they brought back Bellinger. I think remains to be seen whether he's actually fully back. But I do think between the lineup that they have with him, Swanson, Suzuki, Nico is great. And who am I forgetting? I think maybe it was just Nico, but because I think Nico is incredibly underrated.
Pete Armstrong, if he comes up potentially,
yeah.
he's
And then,
maybe being
like you
blocked
said,
by Bellinger. But
Justin Steele, quite frankly, I think he was robbed of the NL Cy Young last year. And I really thought the Cubs were going to sneak into the playoffs last year before that game in Atlanta where Suzuki dropped the fly ball.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm riding with them. I think they make that little final push this year.
I
going
love
with
it.
another secret third option in the Central.
Okay.
This is a bit of an aura vibes pick. Admittedly,
Cincinnati Reds?
Cincinnati Reds are going to win the
That's
Central.
I was going to take them. Oh,
They're so
For the
deep
De La Cruz.
offensively.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Redlegs.
They have a ton of depth on that offense, and it's a hitters friendly park. I like
Yeah.
that a
God,
lot.
it's a bandbox.
Young play, similar enough to the Tigers. I feel like they're a team like, oh, everyone's thinking they're going in the right direction. Maybe they need another year until they're on the scene. No, I think they're here. Hunter Green's healthy, ready to roll. Is he not? I really like him. They have improved within the margins in free agency enough. Like Frankie Montas, not that he's going to be wowing anyone, but to have that to add to your pitching depth, I don't think that's a bad move. I think that's pretty shrewd by them. I really like what the Reds are cooking up in Cincinnati. So I could see, honestly, maybe not all 5 teams winning the NL Central here, but at least 4 of the 5 there. Like, I don't know if I could see an argument for Pittsburgh winning the Central, but even the Brewers, like, I could see it, which, by the way, Baseball Reference, saying that they have, like, the 6th best odds to win the World Series, Milwaukee. I
Yeah,
thought that was
that's-
fucking...
No, thank
I thought
you.
that was fucking
Crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy. Something's going on over there. Some kind of drugs they're taking or something.
We have to find out what's going on.
They're on the good stuff.
Cubby Bears, obviously I could see that. You made some good points on the Cubs. The Cardinal Devil Magic is never truly dead. It just goes dormant from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, Goldschmidt and Arenado still. That's why I
Yeah.
think like they have the bats still to push them. But
But no,
Sonny
even
Gray,
then-
Lance Lynn.
Yeah, I mean Gray was coming off a great year. He's
Right.
just hurt to start the season in 24. But no, I like the bats in Cincinnati, even after losing Noelvi for 80 games for PEDs. Christian Encarnacion Strand is one guy.
Incredible
who's-
name.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, right.
Name
yeah, it's-
alone.
I'm excited to see what that jersey looks like with the Fanatics last name. It might just be a full circle there, but no, give me the Red Legs there. in the Central. In the interest of time, again, NL West, is anyone going against the Dodgers?
No. And their odds are minus 550.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't touch
Isn't
that if I were
crazy?
sprinkling a little money.
That's
But
nuts.
everyone going Dodgers.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to so badly. I was reading up earlier today, and I know I lied to you, Fitz. I was like, I didn't have any time to prep, but I did have like a quick 30 minutes at work today where I was like, okay, I'm going to take a deep dive. And I spent a majority of my time on the West because I was like, I want a reason not to pick them, and I couldn't find one.
Yeah, it's exactly it. It's like, how do they not? I know
Yeah.
that I don't think they're going to reach the expectations that potentially like a World Series perhaps, but I think they have to win the division at least.
Yeah,
They're that good.
100%.
pretty straightforward there. As for the wild cards, could be a little bit more interesting. Lucy,
Yes.
you
so
cooked
I'm
again.
going,
You cooked with the Marlins last
I
year. Anything?
sure did. My NL wild card picks are really just they're cooking again. I think the Giants. I'm taking the Giants. Taking
Okay.
the Phillies
Okay.
and the Diamondbacks. They went to the World Series last year. I think they're going to still be good this year. They have to at least make the playoffs. I think.
Would you believe me if I told you that Jake said Phillies, Giants, Diamondbacks as well?
You've got to be kidding.
What is happening here?
I am not joking. I don't know if
Jake,
you can tell.
you asshole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right at the
Okay.
bottom.
Maybe I am Jake.
He got the scoop. Somebody leaked it to him.
Jake, maybe I did this on a Google Doc. Maybe I shared it with Jake by accident.
We've hacked into Lucy's data frame
What
here.
the
I'm in.
hell?
So
Really?
he goes Phillies,
I think
Giants,
he
Diamondbacks.
stole from my bank account is what's happening.
He stole 4.5. Yeah, check if you're missing 4.5 million.
I wouldn't notice that anyway. So he could have. He can have it. It's fine. He might. But
Liam, your wild card teams?
I was very tempted to go with a sweep for the NL West, but I think that's too bold. So I'm picking the Phillies, the Padres, and the Giants. And
As am I. Liam and
think-
I are twinning a little bit
Whoa.
here. Phillies,
I-
Padres, Giants.
I wanted the Diamondbacks to get back so bad, but I think, there was only 84 wins. I do still think they get better this year record-wise, but that division is going to be a bloodbath.
yeah.
I really do.
Mhm.
I think people are sleeping on the Padres. I know the Giants only just signed Snell, but I still like that. Like, he'll still be there he'll be ramped up, say, by May 1st.
Really like the,
you still get him a
the
majority.
improvements that the Giants have made. Chapman at
Yes.
third. When you
Oh,
have a
Jung
guy
Lee, Soler, like,
Yeah.
I like
finally
that
some
team.
pop. When you have a guy like a Logan Webb who can spin a ton of ground balls, and
Yes.
you get
Oh,
someone
I
like a Matt
almost took
Chapman to field
Logan
behind
Webb.
him.
Yeah, I
helps.
almost took Logan Webb Cy Young, and I wanted
well,
to.
hold
but
that
I'm not,
thought.
But I'm not.
But you mentioned people sleeping on the Padres. I understand that the vibes last year, Liam, were so incredibly fucked with that team.
Yeah.
There's still so much talent.
you know
There's
they
still
had-
so much talent there.
You know their run differential for a team that went 82-80. Their run differential was over 100.
Was
They
it really?
had 752 runs last year compared to 648 runs coughed up. That's an 82-80 record, but Pythagorean would be 92-70. They would have easily made the playoffs in that regard. I think they're due for a huge bounce back. I really do. You got Tatis now after all his shit with the motorcycles and the PED and the ringworm, all that kind of stuff. All that's done.
Ringworm.
Normal spring training. He can get back into the mix. Xander in year 2, can he improve after kind of up and down season?
I still
Machado's
believe.
still
I
there.
still
Just
believe.
got Dylan Cease, and that kind of plugs the
That's
hole
true.
in for Snell, Michael King being there. They're due for a bounce back, I think. So the Padres making the playoffs as a wild card team, I agree with you there. And the Phillies for a lot of other divisions, I think they'd win it outright. But they just have the wagon with the Braves. But I think the Phillies are going to still be right in the mix this year. So yeah, there you have it there for your 3 wild card teams. Lucy, who's taking home the NL MVP crown?
Yes, I'm going with Mookie Betts for this one. His odds plus 600, not too bad there. He is on a team with Shohei Ohtani, but I think Ohtani not pitching is going to hurt his MVP candidacy. Mookie Betts, of course, playing the field, and I don't think his errors at shortstop are going to be a lot. I think he'll be okay, and because he's very athletic, you can bowl, you can play shortstop. So I think Mookie Betts for MVP, and his odds are plus 600.
Jake going with a back-to-back in the MVP for the National League. He's got Acuna, which makes sense if he's have them for a
It's
50-50
50-50.
campaign. Right. So, I mean, I can't argue with that. He's
It's
what a player he is. So, Liam, MVP?
Much like Mike Trout, I'm running back my 2023 pick, Tatis.
Nando?
Like you already said it, Fitz. Like Padres are due for a bounce back. I think he's a huge part of it. We know how electric he can
We
be.
forget how good he fucking good he
Oh
is,
my
man.
God. He was a phenomenon in 2021 with 42 home runs, 31 doubles, 282. The OPS plus was 166. And then obviously we saw flashes of it last year in 140 games, which to be completely honest, feels like way more than he actually played. But I think he'll finally, like you said, normal offseason, normal everything. This is the year he returns to form.
Like that pick a lot.
Yeah,
I like
got
that
you.
pick. I'm riding with Lucy on this. I think Mookie is going to be your MVP.
It's just
I
so
think who else? I think Frank Robinson is one of them. Was there another guy who won MVP in the AL, in the NL, or is it just Robinson?
I think it was just him. I could be wrong.
Cincy in Baltimore. There may
could
have
be
been
wrong.
another guy in there. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I think Mookie joins that list.
Yeah.
Was in the mix last year, has been in the mix obviously in the past, as we all well know.
For mix.
Going to have a good enough of a lineup around him to help the counting numbers and protection in the lineup there. He's just such a special talent, and I think he'll show his value at shortstop as well. I agree with you, Lucy. I don't think he's going to be as bad as people might fear that he is at shortstop. Obviously, a marquee position, but I think he can prove his worth there. And Mookie adds another check mark into his Hall of Fame resume, and
Exactly.
we should change the topic before I start crying. Who's the Cy Young Award in the National League, Lucy?
Okay, gentlemen. I went back and forth on this. A lot of thought. And it came to me in a vision. And I thought, you know what? This is the year of Chris Sale. And I think Christopher Allen Sale is going to win the NL Cy Young this year. He is going to have maybe the last dominant year of his career, but he'll be back. It will be the year of Chris Sale. He will stay healthy. Of course, health is the main question. I think he's going to stay healthy. He has a new, different perspective heading into this season. He had one hell of a spring. I really like him to win the Cy Young this year. He brand new team, new you. His odds, not that crazy. Plus 3,000. That's not insane. So even the odds makers are giving him a little bit of credit here. I don't think it's that crazy to say that Chris Sale will win the Cy Young this year.
And if people still, for whatever reason, value wins, he's going to get a fair amount of those. You would have to think.
There you go.
But again, not to relitigate.
That
the
is
point.
an incredible narrative. Like
He leaves the Red Sox. He has a completely healthy season.
Yeah,
and
which
wouldn't
means
that
it's
just be the,
and
no,
it's
wouldn't that
his-
just be the luck of the Red Sox for that to happen? That's
the way
what I
things have
feel.
gone, yeah.
Of course, it's going to be.
I'd
this
start
season.
to believe in curses again.
He has this season, and you're going to think at the end, of course that happens.
But
Of course.
again, even if that is the case,
God, Mookie and
it still
Sale.
makes sense
those
for
Yeah,
that.
years.
this is what I mean.
One year of a
Isn't
guy,
it?
even if he does, come back to form like he was in like 2016, even if he
Yeah.
does win the Cy Young Award, 1 year of a guy who you weren't going to resign anyway on a team that's going nowhere fast, in my opinion, the Red Sox, at least in 24, compared to a guy who can help plug the middle infield for the next handful of years at a controllable cost. I think it makes sense, but
Who is
the worst case
injured?
scenario is that we have to have this conversation like 20 times on, sports talk radio, podcast, whatever it might be. And I'm not looking forward to that if that is the case. Although it would be very nice to see Sale, get a Cy Young that is long
overdue.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm looking at it right
Finals
now.
Too many times.
It's nuts. He hasn't won it. He's
Exactly.
finished sixth. He's finished fifth. He's finished third. He's finished fourth. He's finished fifth again. He's finished second, and he's finished fourth another time.
It's ridiculous. It's like
Like-
Leonardo DiCaprio not winning the Oscar for so long.
This will be his Revenant.
This will be.
Yeah, not his best movie, but
Right.
it's like
But it gets
the job done.
We gotta give him one.
Good
you know?
enough to win it. I think he will. It's just he's finished finalist so many times that I just see it happening this year. He's gonna take it to the end zone.
We've mentioned his name just a few minutes ago. Jake is going with Logan Webb. Which I
Oh,
do
he's not
like
going
that
with
pick.
Chris Sale, huh?
He's not
Oh.
going. He's not.
Bad move, Jake.
He's a strong
Suck it.
anti-Sale.
Listen, one member of the 2021 Red Sox winning a Cy Young, in Jake's opinion, is too much. at least for this year. He already going with Pavetta, but no, he's going with Logan Webb. Don't hate that pick.
I don't hate that either, unfortunately.
Liam, how about you?
I am not high on the Brewers, folks, but I am high on Freddie Peralta.
Freddie Peralta. Nice.
Yes. Little dark horse, maybe, but I feel like there's been noise around him this offseason. He has a very solid resume under his belt now after 6 years. If he
It's been
throws
6 years for Freddie
Yeah.
Peralta.
I mean,
Jesus.
well, here's the thing. He really only began starting games full time back in 2021. So
That's probably
there
why I
were
feel
2 seasons there in 19 and 20, which 20 doesn't really even count. Where he started 8 games, he started 14 games, but he started 30 last year. He threw the most innings in his career last year. If he keeps trending in that direction, like 2021, he threw 144 innings. The ERA plus was 141. Last year it was 112. But just based on stuff alone, if he throws 170 innings, I think he'll be in the conversation. And who knows? If he doesn't win, sorry, I'm having technical. Baseball Reference just threw an ad in my face, and it was in my ears. That was terrifying.
What was it for?
I was like, "What is happening?" I was like a truck commercial.
You always need a truck.
But no, I think I was going to say in my vision of a large Red Sox deadline move, I could see the name Freddie Peralta in our future. Which, okay, he wouldn't win the NL Cy Young in that situation, but just something to think about, something to chew on.
I should record my own file to be at the start of this segment. Be like, drink every time you hear Liam say the word vision. Be
He's
hammered
really-
by the end of
really-
the segment.
Yeah, he's
I am.
deep in the psychic
I'm seeing
medium.
things. I'm seeing things.
Yeah, exactly.
There are ghosts
sort-
in my
Crystal
apartment.
ball Liam.
The suit
Is it
say
actually your thoughts coming through to us, or is it someone speaking through your mind?
he's got a Ouija board going. Right
Yeah,
Could
we
be-
don't
yeah,
actually know.
exactly.
It
It's
could
off
be
screen.
aliens telling us what to say. So
Is Liam in the room with us right now? I guess I'll be the boring one here. I was torn between 2 guys, but ultimately, it's Spencer Strider, guys. This is
Okay, yeah.
Strider's year.
Ooh,
I
tight
know,
pants.
I know.
Tight pants, fastball go burr.
nice. guys.
Quadzilla, love me some Quadzilla.
Quadzilla.
Is
Yep.
I mean the strikeout machine. I forget who it was from
Yes.
Fangraphs today. One of his bolder predictions was that Strider eclipses 300 strikeouts this year. I don't think that's that crazy.
That's not that crazy. Nope.
If he could keep the ball in the yard, which some of the metrics suggest he can, he had a 3.86 ERA last year. That's not bad. 2.85 fielding independent pitching, though. So it suggests that there's some positive regression potentially coming on the way for Strider. If that regression does come, that positive regression does come, and he has the strikeouts to go with it, how are you going to argue with that? He's still going to throw 180, 190 innings or so. And with the amount of guys that he strikes out at the rate he does it, I don't know how you don't give it to him. The other guy I considered was Zach Wheeler, because I feel like he deserves his flowers as one of the best pitchers in baseball. I was torn there, but I'll go with the chalkier pick on this occasion. Give me Strider to get his Cy Young award. I love him. He's so fucking fun to watch.
Right.
And checking his box, very good, a very big music head. He knows his music. He's a big fan of the Strokes. Shout out the Strokes. He did that
Really?
video with Bailey from Foolish Baseball. So shout out Spencer Strider. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Isn't
we will
he,
see Wheeler and Strider on Thursday.
He's a big lefty, isn't he?
He's based.
Yeah.
He's
big lefty, but he throws righty.
Oh, bada bing, bada boom. Baby of the year in the senior circuit, Lucy. Who's it going to be?
Yes. So I am taking Young Hoo Lee plus 600.
Jake,
You got
hand
it.
hand to God, Jake is too. Hand to God.
Jake, baby, I think Jake and I have crossed waves in terms of visions. Which is
Yep, John
insane.
Hooley.
Not that okay. So this one, not that that's the craziest pick though. So I could see how Jake would also be in the same wavelength as me when it comes to picking Young Hoo Lee.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Appreciate
Alright.
that. Good contact sort of a hitter.
Yeah.
He's not going to have a ton of pop, which might be kind of a thing going against him, but he,
Yeah,
he
Jake, you
seems
didn't
like a good
consider the pop there
contact-oriented
if
hitter.
he hears this.
That'll
Yeah.
work in San Francisco.
Right.
Big outfield.
Mhm.
Just get him down.
Get into triples alley,
It's true. Yeah.
Liam, what say you? Rookie of the year in the NL.
Going the same. Same
Jung
as
Hoo
Lucy
Lee?
and Jake. Yeah.
Get that.
I'm all in. Since
Yeah.
the day they signed him, he put on the cap and he asked the press, "Handsome?" question mark.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I love him. I love him.
Yep.
He did a photo shoot for, I think it was GQ Korea.
Skibbity. Montgomery is signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
No. Are you?
Oh,
You're kidding.
Do I need to change my pick?
Is it over?
Well, okay. Wild card team.
Do we
Well,
have
that
do we have-
changes.
Do we have details? Do we have details?
Passan, left-handed
Yeah.
starter Jordan Montgomery and the Arizona Diamondbacks are in agreement on a free agent deal pending physical, a source tells ESPN. No years,
Nothing yet.
nothing.
Damn it.
As far as I can tell.
Okay.
Jake, or Liam, I don't think you actually skibbitied in that situation. It was such a big.
It
It was a jump
was
scare
so
there.
shocking.
What happened to the Yankees in this situation too?
Right. Well, now that makes me rethink. Do I kick the Giants there? Because that's
I'm
a nice
sticking
boost. That's a nice boost. Gallon is your. Gallon leads the line, but
Gallon,
Monty
Ed.
2, and then Erod 3 or Kelly
you go
3.
Merrill Kelly?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Red Sox Nation.
That's a good 1 through
And
4
then-
there. Brandon Pfaadt is your 5.
That's five. Shit.
I
I might have
talking
to
myself.
switch to Arizona.
No, nope. I've
Yeah,
already
no,
said
already
mine.
on the record.
I'm not
Nope.
taking it.
Nope,
I'm not
already-
taking it
yeah.
back. It's
I
locked
made all
in.
my picks considering he could sign anywhere. So
There you go.
yeah.
Lucy saw it in
Yeah,
a vision of
in
her own.
the event that wherever he goes, that it'll stay the same. God
And it's very
damn
well
it.
good.
Can we while I explain my pick here, Liam, could you do me a favor and quote tweet the Passan thing with the there goes
Thank you,
that
Red.
dream screenshot from Banshees from the
Yes.
pod account, please and thank you. I can't tap my head and rub my belly at the same time. I agree with all three of you that the National League MVP award will be going to San Francisco. I do not think it will be Jung-Hoo Lee. That is where we differ.
Correct.
Kyle Harrison is going to be your National League MVP, I believe.
Okay.
They really like that big, tall drink of water on the mound. Again, he's going to get his chances in that rotation, and with the improved defense behind him for the Giants, I like his trajectory. I like the way he projects to be in that rotation. Has some nice stuff. I feel like maybe we're missing the obvious pick with Yamamoto. Although if the season ended today, he would not win Rookie of the Year after that first start. But
That's why I strayed away from that, and I thought
Just
too,
the ones-
too obvious. I was like, he's done. Nope, cooked, done.
Yeah, Kyle Harrison is a little fun pick there for National League Rookie of the Year, because sometimes I feel like it's a random. Who thought that it was going to be Kyle Lewis a couple years ago with the Mariners being?
Yeah.
I know it was the COVID year, but still. All right, this is where the fun begins. To quote Anakin Skywalker, the American League Championship Series and the National League Championship Series. Lucy, who's facing off for the pennant in the AL and the NL, and who's advancing to the World Series? What do we got?
Yes. So I've made some bold predictions throughout the evening. This is not as bold. It's pretty ho-hum, but I think it's reasonable. Orioles to be the AL champions, plus 550 are their odds. And then the Braves to win the National League, plus 240. Then the Orioles ultimately win the World Series in 7 games.
Okay, and any picks on who they'll be beating in the
Oh,
LCS?
Yes.
Or not? No big deal if you don't. But
I don't see that vision yet, but I will update you.
fair
when I
enough.
do.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Jake, I
Where's
have
Jake
to pull
at?
his back up. Jake in the AL is saying the Rangers over the Twins,
Oh,
and then the Phillies over the Dodgers. And then from there, he has the Phillies lifting the Commissioner's Trophy over the Rangers. Didn't mention how many games, but that is Jake's pick.
I don't
The
hate
Fighting
the Phillies. Okay, I'm gonna say Red Sox Orioles. The Orioles will beat them,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna say the Phillies and the Braves. The Braves beat the Phillies.
Fair enough.
'Kay.
Liam, how's it going down? What does the vision tell you?
So I sort of spaced out there, just ripping tweets from the pod account. So
This
are we
is
doing?
crazy?
Did we do AL and NL just now?
Yeah, then
Or-
the World Series, yes.
Okay, so American League, as much as it pains me, I think Toronto is coming out of the American League.
Hmm.
I'm going bold there because to me this is make or break for them. If it doesn't happen this year, it's not happening. and
Okay.
you blow it all up. And while I do think the Orioles are still the best team in the American League, seemingly whenever you presume it is someone's year or this is their time, it is not their time.
It's not.
So they could just very well. I will say I foresee in my visions a Orioles Blue Jays ALCS,
Okay.
but I will say the Orioles do not advance to the World Series. So we'll go Blue Jays, and I think to me the NL is quite clear. It's the Braves.
Yeah.
I think Braves Blue Jays. We're running it back. What was that? 91 or 92? I think it was 91 is when they played.
Blue Jays and Braves.
Blue Jays Braves, yeah.
Okay.
One of
That
them was
the
the
year I was
Phillies.
born.
Yeah. That Joe Carter was the Phillies one. I know that
So
much.
that was 92. So 91 had to have been the Braves, right?
Yeah. So there you go.
Look
Yeah.
at us. We're like detectives.
But this time I will say the Braves beat.
Okay. The Braves
Blue
are
Jays.
World Series or bust this year, I feel like. And I think they'll
100%.
make it
Couple teams
to
in
the
World
World
Series,
Series. Yeah, that's true. I think the Orioles as well.
I'm going a little chalky here.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the Orioles make it to the ALCS, but they bow out. And I still can't quit the Astros, man. I think the Astros win in the AL. I think the Braves win the NL over the Phillies.
Oh,
In
to
a
me,
rematch
the
of the
Phillies,
21 World Series, I think it's the same outcome. I think the Braves beat the Astros in the World Series.
That's not unreasonable.
Braves are so goddamn good.
They're so good. But does their pitching fall apart like last year in the final moments? Is the concern.
That's the question.
That's my concern.
They could also go out and bolster that at the deadline there. The bullpen, I think, is, I mean, it's a huge if I'm just saying heads up with everyone healthy. That's a damn good bullpen for 7, 8, 9 in high leverage spots. You have obviously a dynamite lefty and then two really good righties out of the pen there. And also they have the experience. I think we mentioned obviously the Orioles being a sweetheart pick, and they're a wicked fun team to watch, but they're still young. Obviously the Texas Rangers now have a lot of that experience on their side, but the Blue Jays still haven't been that far. The Rays haven't been able to take that jump. The Yankees haven't been able to take that jump. Astros have been here before a handful of times with different managers, the space that they have. So I do buy in on them winning the American League. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think the Braves are just too good. They have too much quality.
Yeah.
Montgomery deal, this is according to Heyman. Montgomery deal is for $25 million for 1 year plus a vesting option for $25 million for a second year. We couldn't fucking beat that.
Wasn't it reported that it was a longer term deal that he was looking for?
Yeah, he wanted 6 or 7.
So why couldn't the Red Sox do that?
That is a Boris. That might be Boris's biggest fumble.
He's
in
Boris.
history.
Washed.
Cooked. Wow.
Boris.
Yeah,
So wait, run that by me
those
again.
are the two big ways.
125 with a vesting option for how much?
2 years.
The second vesting year option is 25 again. So at max it's 2 years, 50 million.
I mean, Fitz, we've said this a bunch over the winter. If I want a top of the line rotation guy, I don't want him just for 2 years. So to me, the price point, I understand people are going to bitch and moan about that.
Okay, if it was going to be a short term deal, you couldn't be 25.
That's ridiculous. Well, you know what? They're satisfied with the rotation they have now. Apparently,
Let's rock.
I think.
What did we have? Second lowest
rock.
ERA this spring.
They're going to rock and roll. Is what they're gonna do.
Well, you think they're winning the wild card one
They
way or the
will.
other, Lucy? Here.
They'll be in the ALCS.
Montgomery be
I
damned.
Come hell or high water.
Yeah, we'd be dancing on my own. By the way, I hate that song.
Well, yeah, now it doesn't have
Makes
the
me
same
sad.
as it once did back in the day.
Yeah,
It's cursed. It's a cursed song.
yeah, it's cursed. This is it's full throttle.
You know what else is full throttle? Your new show, Lucy.
Oh yeah,
Tell us all about it.
Okay, so on the BetQL network, new show debuted today, Bet Slips and Bat Flips. I host it with my co-host Jake Hassan. It is every single
Not Jake
day.
Wallinger.
Yeah, Jake
Sorry,
Walger,
no.
not to be confused with my enemy Jake. My co-host Jake. Do not confuse the two. Although you could tune in, maybe he and I will become enemies, and it will be good fodder for a show. But no, yeah. So it's every day from 2 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern time on BetQL's Twitch, which you can find just at BetQL, twitch.tv/BetQL. And yeah. And you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. So it's Bet Slips and Bat Flips. And we had a lot of fun today. We did some futures, and as we did right here. So yeah, we will be doing that every single day throughout the baseball season.
And if people want to hear more from you, where can they find you?
Yes, they can find me on Twitter at Lucille Burge, Instagram at Lucille Burge, on TikTok at Lucy Burge1. And
Because you
recently-
lost the original Simon.
remember that
I
story.
did.
now from
I
last
did
year,
lose
yeah.
that. But hey, guess what I figured out too on Instagram? Lucy Burge on Instagram, also me. I was like, who is this? It is one picture of my filtered, my limoncello in Italy. And I was like, wait, that's me. I
Sounds
forgot
tasty.
the account myself. So I locked myself out of my own account and I had to switch my name. That happened on TikTok too.
Trust nobody, not even yourself.
I don't trust myself. Yeah, that's save your passwords, folks.
Lucy Burge, again, thank you so much for coming on to the pod. You will get an invitation to the Havesy Awards again this summer. 100%. We'll make sure it doesn't get lost in the mail. But until then, we really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you guys. I can't wait for the summer, and we'll see how Jake does as well.
Yeah, we'll meet up at
Ooh.
Bullpen for a couple beers before
Oh, we have to.
one of these games.
100%.
That will happen. I'll see you guys at Bullpen.
Can't wait.